where do we even start this video? Do we start with why the markets are crashing? Essentially, today, the NASDAQ down 2%, S&P down 1%. Stocks like Microsoft here down over 3%. Apple down another, almost 3%. Semiconductors taking a little bit of a breather as well. Do we start with the fact Tesla stock is down 27% year to date? Tentatively, at least at the time of recording this video? Do we start with the beautiful bounce that we've seen off of the trend line? Well, I think we should actually start here. I think we should indeed start with buying the dip, at least a little bit. I plan to plow a lot more money into Tesla. More money is on the sidelines, but we do have a major event coming tomorrow in which could give us to some degree a black swan or gray swan event in our markets. I'll break that down in the next video, maybe a little bit here in this video, but I do want to, long story short, keep some dry powder on the sidelines. We'll go ahead though and buy 3 more shares of Tesla. Bought 10 shares yesterday, so put about $2,500 into Tesla here as new money in the past 2 days. And if Tesla stock does fall even more, well, I'll put even more in. That now brings us to about $8,700 in market value here in the YouTube portfolio, down about 16% or $1,700 with the average cost of $217, 48 shares, representing 15.5% of this portfolio. The way I look at it is if I was bullish at 200 or 220, 260, 300, I'm more bullish today at 181. You ultimately make money if you buy a stock at a good price. You don't make money when you sell a stock. You make money when you buy a stock. So as Tesla stock falls, I'll buy more shares. That is, of course, as long as nothing changed with the business and the business trajectory. Well, actually, something did happen today for Tesla stock, and is one of the reasons why Tesla stock is down about 3.5%. Tesla's Giga Berlin factory halted production and was left without power after Elon called in, quote, extremely dumb suspected arson attack that set an electricity pylon ablaze close to the site early on Tuesday. Does this affect Tesla's numbers at all? No. It's not going to change earnings estimates for Tesla or revenue estimates for Tesla's current quarter, but I think this does highlight the drama is getting even more intense around Giga Berlin. We reported just a couple of days ago there are climate activists that are camping in tree houses outside of Giga Berlin. Now they're starting fires. I mean, I wouldn't expect this to erode shareholder value in a meaningful way, but it's just more drama. Financial media loves when Tesla has drama because then they can make negative articles about Tesla and help the algorithms to drive Tesla's stock lower. Elon Musk says these are either the dumbest eco-terrorists on earth or they're puppets of those who don't have good environmental goals. Stopping production of electric vehicles rather than fossil fuel vehicles is extreme dumb. Yeah, Elon, that was precisely my thought as well. Tesla has launched a scathing attack on Australia's main auto industry lobby group, accusing it of attempting to delay climate action by repeatedly making, quote, plainly false claims to the public about an Albanese government clean car policy. We did get vehicle registration numbers for the week of February 25th through March 3rd. These came in at 12,500 insurance registrations in China for the week. That is higher than 2022 by about 1,200 vehicles, but that's lower than last year by roughly 800 or so vehicles. So not a super strong number, but not a terrible number either. We are also getting some Rivian R2 specs that are getting leaked, and apparently it's going to qualify for the $7,500 off invoice tax credit, if you will, with a starting price of $47,500. It looks like Reuters put together this article. Could the $6 billion legal fee in Musk's Tesla pay case be reasonable? And Sawyer Merritt says no. The fee implies an hourly rate of $288,888 for the work that each of the 37 lawyers, associates, and paralegals spent on the case. Yeah, That's insane. Bitcoin briefly today hit an all-time high of $69,300. At that price, Tesla's Bitcoin is worth $673 million, up 56% year to date. Still assuming that Tesla has not sold anytime recently. Dodge has unveiled the Charger Daytona EV, its first all-electric, quote, muscle car, up to 670 horsepower, all-wheel drive, range up to 317 miles, 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, and it weighs about 5,800 pounds. That is 600 pounds heavier than the Model X. Let me know your opinions on this down below in the comment section. Tesla's chief designer, Franz, and Lars, the VP of vehicle engineering, will be doing this chat on X on March 7th at 2 p.m. Battery electric vehicles captured over 90% market share in Norway in February, the second consecutive month over 90%. Jaguar has announced that it will halt production of its gas-powered models by June of 2024. This move is part of Jaguar's plan to transition into an EV-only brand by 2025. Considering all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt surrounding EV manufacturers right now, I find that particularly interesting. They obviously forecast good things ahead for EVs and continued adoption of EVs. Before we get into all of your other Tesla stock news, all of your data that I think you need to know, what's happening today in the markets? Why are markets down so much? We did get ISM Services PMI. This came in better than expected for the most part across the board. The headline number came in at 52.6. The estimate was 53. So a little bit better than expected, but really not that much better. Maybe the markets were priced for a better number. You could make that argument. Factory orders month over month came in at negative 3.6%. The estimate was negative 2.9%. That was a beat there as well. Factory orders excluding transportation came in at negative 0.8%. The estimate was negative 1%. That was also a beat. ISM Services business activity came in much hotter than expected at 57.2. The estimate was 54.9. Maybe that does translate into more service inflation, but then you look at ISM Services prices and that came in much lower than expected at 58.6. The estimate was 63. So that kind of throws the whole inflationary service argument out of the window. I mean, yeah, sure, business activity's higher, prices are lower. That's good news. ISM Services new orders came in better than expected at 56.1. The estimate was 54. ISM Services employment came in at 48. The estimate was 50.4. So in my personal opinion, actually, this is probably the best outcome you could have seen. Prices falling, new orders rising, business activity improving. Factory orders, yeah, negative 3.6%. But really, this shows inflation down in the service sector, activity up. That is your soft landing disinflation narrative that you got today with ISM Services PMI. Then wait, why are stocks down so much? I think one of the more obvious reasons why the market is lower today is because we do have Fed Jerome Powell coming tomorrow. And we really haven't seen any downside in our markets for months. So we were overdue for some kind of pullback. And you have Fed Jerome Powell that could surprise us with new information tomorrow. I don't think the markets are really pricing in a surprise, but they're pricing in at least a chance of a possibility of a surprise. And markets are still trading at very elevated levels. If we do get a surprise tomorrow, that could be to some degree a black swan event, and of course we'll talk about that more in the next video, but other than that, there's really not a big reason why stocks are lower today. I mean, even when you take a look at 10-year treasury yields, they're down almost 9 basis points today. You are seeing to some degree a rotation from your big tech names into small and mid cap stocks. The Russell 2000 is the outperformer today, only down 0.64%. The Nasdaq is the worst off of the major indexes, down 1.78%. The S&P is down 1.04%, and the Dow is down 0.92%. But you are seeing a rush to get protection heading into Jerome Powell tomorrow, with the VIX that's up about 7% today. It's not a huge rush into put protection, but there is some put activity that is taking place. Now back to your Tesla stock. Breaking news today. Elon Musk will be speaking at Morgan Stanley's TMT conference this Wednesday at 11:45 a.m. CS Energy has finalized the construction of its $100 million Tesla Megapack battery storage system near Chinchilla, Queensland, and will progress to the project's commissioning stage. Tesla North America on X says wraps for the Model 3 and the Model Y and the Cybertruck are now available at our Austin South Collision location. Tesla Insurance ended 2023 with $497 million in written premiums, a 115% year-over-year increase. And take a look at all of this activity the Cybertruck is seeing at the auto show in Ohio. Another reason you could explain some of the recent weakness in Tesla's stock is this. A bank group spearheaded by Morgan Stanley held discussions with Elon Musk and his team about refinancing a roughly $12.5 billion debt package that X has. As you know, Elon Musk is not compensated in a salary, so he has a lot of stock in Tesla. And if, well, X starts to fail for whatever reason, Elon will sell more Tesla stock. And last time that happened, well, Tesla stock went to $101 at the low. Is that happening right now? Probably not. Could it happen down the line in the future? It could. And there is some risk to that has to be priced into Tesla stock. And I think that is what has partly happened over the last 2 days. Google Trends data for the Tesla lineup continues to show strong search trend activity for the Cybertruck, still at 29, the Model Y going from 34 to 33, the Model 3 continuing to go higher from 36 to 37, and the Model X staying right at about 10. Tesla continues to run about 3,000 different ads with Google. On StockTwits, the sentiment for Tesla stock today is bearish at 38. That's actually a little bit better than yesterday, which I would imagine it would be, considering Tesla's only down 4% right now. And yesterday, Tesla stock was down over 7%. You were at 27 yesterday. So that is about 11-point jump. This is 0 to 100. So you're still bearish. If you get over 50, that's going to be neutral. And I love that, people think this way. As Tesla stock goes lower, people get bearish. The time to be bearish on a stock is when a stock is doing well, when there's not a lot of downside risk priced into a stock. That's when you typically want to be bearish. That's where the returns really are. If you're buying puts on Tesla right now, if you're shorting Tesla, well, odds are you've already seen most of that drop, with the stock down 27% year to date. You should actually get more bullish as the stock is falling, but that's really contrary to, I guess, human emotion. So if you can conquer human emotion, your emotions, you're going to do well in the markets. Obviously, you want to, again, think back to what I said earlier in this video. If anything changes with the business, fundamentally gets worse, you have to reevaluate that as well. I don't think the last 2 days anything has fundamentally changed. 2 days in the last 2 days compared to the last 2 months. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something that we don't know yet, but that's would be my take on that situation. Message volume today is higher than yesterday. Yesterday it was at 61, and today it's at 68, so that's pretty good. Participation ratio is at 55, so still a lot of people talking about Tesla. And if you ever want to get just a good laugh in, look at the feed on StockTwits for Tesla. People are, calling for $50, $30, putting out some ridiculous statements. And this just, again, makes me even more bullish. It seems like people forgot, but normally you want to buy low, sell high, not buy high, sell higher. Option activity today from hedge funds and institutions, quite negative, with a positive order value of 41%. You have seen 948 orders totaling $257.3 million. If you take a look at the volume today, 55.38% of the volume is calls and 44.62% of the volume is puts. Tesla stock does have 3.21% short interest of free float, $16.67 billion currently in short positions in Tesla, with a cost to borrow max at about 9.86%. The higher the cost to borrow max, the more shorting activity that you're seeing, the more demand there is to get your shorts to get their hands on Tesla stock. So cost to borrow fees almost 10% today. I think that's outrageous. I mean, you're going to have to bet Tesla stock's going to fall big if you're paying those kind of fees. And yeah, that's another reason why Tesla stock is down today. 80% of stocks above their 50-day moving average is also down to about 52.6%. You're down about 2% today. 2% of all stocks fell under their 50-day moving average. And overall, you're not in a super low place. You're not like in a full-on crash or correction in the broad markets, but the average stock has not been doing well since the start of 2024. Now, I will talk about this a little bit more in the next video, what could happen to Tesla and the broad markets if you do see, to some degree, a really bad day tomorrow. But I will say right now, this line that I've had drawn on the charts for a while here, connecting basically the gap up level that you've seen on, this was January 26, 2023. So over a year ago, connecting it to the lows that we have seen recently, this, uptrending line of support, you bounced right off of that today. Like pennies off of that. You bounced off of that as well when you hit the low on February 5th. You bounced and you retraced the upside. Tesla started to get some upside momentum from there. That's a really good sign that maybe the selling pressure is starting to get exhausted at this point. Now, if tomorrow is a bad day, well, Tesla stock is probably going right back to that low level at about 177, but it could fall even lower than that. And I guess bad news is if you fall under this line, your next level is this descending level of support, which is basically from the same time period, another gap level. This actually happened in June of 2023, and you've been following this pretty closely as well. That's going to send you back to about 166, call it roughly 165. And that is why I want to keep some dry powder on the sidelines here, but we'll go over this more in depth in the next video. If you guys would like to come hedge your portfolios, come trade with us live in real time. Every time I make trades, I send out alerts. Check that link out down below in the description of this video. I have apparently a very unhappy household to go tend to. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you at 8 p.m. tonight.